This
PPDS
conference will now be recorded.
Sorry, can you repeat the question for me?
No, you are a trainer for PPDS and IBP also, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, correct. It's loading. The moment it's gonna come, I'll let you know. I hope now you should be able to see my screen.
Yes, I can able to see.
Okay, super. So yeah, so yes, to speak about the trainings. Yes, I do train people on S4HANA and also on IBP, especially in the demand and SNOP and response planning modules of IBP. So those are the modules of Checkpoint and CPIDS. Okay, coming back to S4HANA. So our sessions, they can be classified into three important aspects. So firstly, starting with the gap analysis sessions. So I think the font is not straining your eyes. Do you want me to increase the font?
No, I'm good.
Okay, great. So all the prerequisites which are needed for us. So you will firstly try to understand what are the pain points the planners used to face when it used to be an API system also. Because maybe in the future engagements with the client, maybe if you have to go for and not for a completely greenfield implementation, maybe a brownfield implementation, and awareness towards the older system will also be useful for you. So that's the reason why a few important topics about how the architectural changes have happened from ECC API as two different entities into one single system. That awareness will also be understood by us under this gap analysis sessions. So gap analysis sessions are more about the prerequisite topics that will be discussed by us, which will make us more comfortable towards the actual topics of planning, and at the same time the monetary benefits the client has been able to enjoy by adopting the advanced planning into their landscape, right? All of this comes under this gap analysis sessions, then followed by training content. The training contents, I believe my coordination team has sent you a Word document which briefs about the topics of discussion. Is that yes?
I didn't get any document.
Okay, so you will receive it by end of the day in that case. So wherein all the the topics of discussion which should be covered under the sessions will be shown to you. So for a quick glance, right, I would open that Word document. So you will receive it by end of the day. Okay, so let me know once you are able to see my Word document. Okay.
Okay.
Just a minute. Okay, the document is opening. Yeah. In all our sessions, I would be a participant who would be speaking, and I would drive my aspirants to lead the sessions. So you will be taking the control of navigation and other things. Will that approach be appreciable by you, or do you have any other suggestion? Because that will also make yourself more comfortable with the navigational help, right? That's the intention.
That should be fine. 1 minute. One minute. I'll go to the other room. 1 minute. Yeah. Can you just share the Word document which you mentioned? Yeah.
Yeah, it's opening. Just a minute. Do you see my Word document now? Okay,
No, not yet.
just yeah. Probably now.
Yes. Yeah, I can see your screen. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So as I said you that before we really move on to the training contents, we will firstly fulfill our prerequisite topics, like what are the essential configuration necessities we need to know, what are the architectural changes they have made up, so how PPDS works, the basic background of it, how the methodologies of PPDS are essential. So all of those details we would have already discussed in the gap analysis sessions, and then we would have launched ourselves into the PPDS training contents documents, right? So it is more detailed here, like what are the topics which are further available for us to understand. And as I mentioned earlier, that you would receive this document, so probably then you can take a deep dive into it. Okay, so that's the gap analysis sessions, which fulfills the all the prerequisites, training contents, which is the essential topics wise discussion about them, and probably awareness about what are the methodologies we are going to use, and all of those will be under the training content, and then followed by a very important aspect called user stories. So what is a user story and how it is going to play a vital role in our training discussions? A user story is about a problem statement which is faced by different players who are involved in the context of planning, maybe a production planner, maybe a supply chain executive, maybe a sales representative or a sales head, and how are they impacted because of this problem statement, and how it is being resolved with the help of methodologies what we are using in our PPDS is what we will case it under this user stories. Is that clear? What is a user story?
Yeah.
Right. So gap analysis sessions, probably here, as I mentioned, that before we really speak about them, we are going to further understand about the prerequisites. So these are more in the interactive mode, where we try to understand about your experiences and how we can tailor the further discussions is what we try to do. So it's a more about you're trying to know more about me, and I'll try to know more about you, and then probably we are making ourselves more comfortably detailing to the training contents, right?
Okay.
Yeah, super. So now that we are aware about how our sessions have been classified into, so probably let us try to take a quick shot to understand, like, what is the significance of PPDS and how important is PPDS. So before that, as I said you that our sessions are collaborated with the gap analysis sessions. So I want to know how comfortable are you with this terminology called the SCOR model?
I don't know what is car model.
Okay, so SCOR model stands for supply chain operations reference model. According to SCOR, there are 6 important aspects how any client who is using supply chain process, he can classify his process into. So you can take randomly any name. You say FedEx, you say Amazon, you say Dell, you say HP, you say Cargill. Any of this, the brands what we have said, they have a different customer base, they have a different product range, and of course they also have a different varieties of products what they offer to the customer, or the different services what they offer to the customer. Do you agree?
Yeah, yeah.
In spite of so much of diversity in the way how they work or what are the offerings they give to the customers, still all of their processes can be classified in a simplified way, like plan, make, source, deliver, returns, and enablement. So where do we fall and what are the different processes are being influenced? More about them we are going to understand in the sessions which we have planned for you in the upcoming sessions, right? So but let us try to understand like the processes of plan, let us say. So plan is a very essential segment which is helping us to also make an improvement towards the others, right? Like make, source, deliver, and returns. Do you agree with me? Because if I have a right plan processes in place, the other processes can be effectively, increase their overall performance. You have different KPIs, key performance indicators, which you monitor, which you measure, uh, and probably we will also, know how are this process of making or sourcing or delivery or maybe the returns. So how are they performing? We use the KPIs, right, as a monitoring process, how they can be improvised. So if you have a right plan process in place, that is only achievable in that case. Do you agree?
Yeah, yeah. So I'm aware of the theory. I think you can start the actuals actually. I want to see in the system. Yeah.
Okay. So yes. Okay. Seeing at the system point of view, yeah, we need to speak about the master data. We need to speak about uh, the configuration capabilities of the system. That we will take it in the in the next session, but probably today we are trying to understand about how our sessions are going to be further detailed. So okay, so you are quite comfortable with the MRP views and the process
Yeah.
of make to
I'm,
stock,
I'm
make to order, make to
so,
engineering.
yeah. So I'm aware of the PP
Okay,
processes, the MRP live, and everything. So I want to know about the
okay.
PPs. Yeah.
PPDS, yeah. So in the PPDS point of view, probably knowing about the difference when I compare with PP is, so we know in PP the process of material planning and capacity planning are two individual steps. Do you agree?
Yes.
Am I right? Right.
Correct.
So, but when we come to PPDS, it has the capability of doing it simultaneously. So simultaneous planning of material and capacity planning. So this is one of the very important takeaway that makes it to be a very important tool for planning. So simultaneous planning of material and capabilities of capacity brings a reliable MAD, material availability date, right? So now you may ask me, but Raghu, is it not uh, possible with the production planning? So it is more difficult, I would say, as a planner's point of view, to enable or to establish the changes whichever have happened before the previous planning ones, how efficiently he is able to bring up those changes to represent this both planning of materials and the capacities, how are they going to get influenced, is not that easy in the context of production planning. So we have PPDS, the first essential part. Okay, so how about the tools, the tools what we have, how are they called as, and what are they called as in the context of PPDS? So we say the tools here as interactive planning tools. So you can see here, the moment I'm saying it is interactive, that means it is like user-friendly tools, interactive planning tools. So they give a lot of details about the information. At the same time, it also brings a lot of framework to understand how a planner can customize, modify his overall plan at a one single stretch, and how he can also visualize them. So just a minute. So I want to see if I can demonstrate it onto the system. But as here today was a session, what I have planned is to just to enable you explain about what are the differences a PPDS makes. When you compare with the normal production planning. But yeah, of course. So in the next session, we will also see the system, because when we have to validate the information in a PPDS, so there are a lot of different gap analysis sessions what we need to know. For example, the master data. So master data is what we are going to derive for advanced planning are a little different. So we need to speak about what is a product master, what is a resource, and how there's something called PDS. How are they going to derive? And then probably we will look on to the way how the planning happens in advanced planning. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So interactive planning tools is the a very essential part of PPDS, which helps us to also understand how they are going to work. So to understand about interactive planning tools, I'm going to additionally bring one architectural change what we have in S4HANA Advanced Planning, which we need to know. So even in the older version of ECC and APO, we have we used to have it as two different boxes. One we say it as ECC, and the other one we say it as APO, which are two different boxes earlier. Were you comfortable with this architecture earlier?
Yeah.
Or
Using
how about
yeah.
CIF? CIF
Yeah.
also? Okay. You're comfortable with even the configuration of it? Is what should I understand?
Yeah. There's some BD59 and all, right, to RFC connection. Yeah.
Yeah. Very good. Awesome. Awesome. So within the APO, there were two different databases. Were you aware of them?
Yeah.
Any idea on them? Can you help
Two
me?
different.
What were they called as?
Which one? The tables you're talking, or what? What? I mean, the
No, I
material.
was speaking about the databases. Okay. So APO, earlier it had something called classical DB and another one called as live cache DB. So these are the two different databases what APO system had earlier. Okay. So what made SAP to design the architecture in this way? Let us try to understand.
Mm-hmm.
You must have experienced when you are trying to access the same data by multiple people, a person would receive as the information is already locked, only view possible. For example, changing a material, or maybe the same sales order if you are opening, and if it is already opened by some other person, you would see that a message comes automatically, right? That you can only display aloud. You cannot
Correct.
modify it, right? So when we speak about a database as an approach, we probably had two important dimensions to look at it. One is how faster it is able to store the data, and how
Mm-hmm.
faster it is able to retrieve the data for analysis purpose, let us say. On that basis, we use the terminologies called OLTP and OLAP. How comfortable are you with these terminologies?
I don't know that. Yeah.
Okay, so OLTP, which stands for Online Transactions Processing System. Okay, in our older days of ECC as a box, we can refer OLTP is our ECC system. Okay, whereas OLAP is an analytical processing system, and here in this case, this is our APO box was an OLAP system. Okay, so OLTP, as by the naming it, you can see it's a transaction processing system. So the moment you create a material, the moment you punch a sale order, immediately you require a sale order number, immediately you require a material number to be added, something like that. So it should be very fast enough to at the back end to store all the table level entries and all, that we know that okay, everything what we are doing it at our interactive sessions, or the sessions what we are playing, so probably that would affect the tables and all that, that. So all of these things, how fastly is it able to store the information and give you the response, is what the OLTP's performance is being measured, right? Whereas coming to OLAP, it is more effectively useful to do the analytical processing. Now when I say the database, right, the database could be useful for me when I have to understand how the innate capabilities of the report analysis, how fastly am I able to do it. For example, I want to know how many number of sale orders were created for a particular material. On that basis, my stock consumption is going to happen. So it is little more faster when I go with an OLAP process. So and the way how it is different is because of the orientation of how it is going to work. So we have something called row orientation and column orientation, which I'm going to explain you now. Say for example, you have, so let us say that if you are making a sales order, punching of sales orders is the event what we are speaking about. So I have a sales order, I have materials, I have plant information, I have customer, and say requested quantity, and say the MAD. Okay, and this is influenced by something called stock in hand situation, stock in hand data. So let us say that okay, even when I'm typically punching my sale order, these are a few essential fields which are getting updated. Sale order 1, S1, material as M1, let us say, plant as 1000, customer as C1, requested quantity 100, some MED, stock in hand was earlier say 500. Because of this 100 consumption, it would be 400. So I'm just making the note of this 500 here, because it was the data before the order punching was done. Then I get another sale order S2, the same material for a different plant, for a different customer, for a different requested quantity, and MAD derivation. Again, it will be come down to 350 now, and S3. Okay, maybe a different plant for a different, same customer maybe, but from a different plant. and the quantity is 200. Okay, awesome. Now 150. Now what we see is that each sale order consumption of this stock in hand, its situation will impact whether the availability of the stock can be done for this next sale order or not. Do you agree on this point?
Yes.
Imagine if the sale order one guy is trying to think whether the requested quantity is the same or should I modify and all. Until unless he commits to this requested quantity, the material availability date could be affected. So that means, for example, if he's going to make it as instead of 100, if it is like say 400, so obviously the rest of the two sale orders would not get any requested quantity confirmation. So probably what would happen in this case is as the queue goes on, as the number of entry, number of sales guys are they trying to punch the order, they are trying to access the same information called stock in hand, probably they get into the queue and probably the response time increases very highly. So that is the challenge. And you see, whenever I was trying to create a record, it moves in this direction from sales order to the stock. I believe you're able to see my pointer. So right, so this is what we say it as row orientation, right? Because it is saving the data in this format. But when I have to, access the data, or when I make my query, how would I do? I want to know number of sales orders created against customer C1 or customer specifically to C1. So it sees to a specific column. Am I right? And maybe I will say how many number of sales orders were created against plant is equal to 1000 and customer is equal to C1. So it will take two more. It will take column plant and also the customer. The orientation is different and also it would require a different capabilities. Do you agree now? So because when I do it at a row level, maybe if I have to see the same query, like when plant is equal to 1000, so search for that. So a row oriented program in the database, it would see for every sales order and see okay which is mapping and which is not. So it would have read this all these fields and then cut short to this values. Okay, two records were only something fulfillable, something like that. But probably when you go with the column orientation, it is much more faster. So that's the reason why OLTP and OLAP as two different systems they have to construct, right? And then they need to use the CIF in order to transfer the master and transactional data from ECC to APO. But when I come to the S4 HANA, so how is the S4 HANA constructed? Any idea? Uh,
Yeah,
Awareness on this topic?
advanced planning is already enabled in the same S4, right? Yeah.
Very good. So, so what makes it different? Like how it is achievable now? How it is constructed? Any idea on that? Awareness on it?
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. So, but are you comfortable now so far to understand that row orientation and column orientation are two different capabilities of a database, and they have the requirements are different, and of course, the way how they work are different. Are you clear so far with this OLTP and OLAP?
Correct. I understand that part. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So when I come here, right? So it is S4 HANA. So of course, S4 HANA we refer it as in-memory processing already, right? But additional to this, still we have live cache. Okay. So what is the significance of live cache? How it works? We have to understand. Excuse me.
Hmm.
Do you hear
Hello?
me better now?
Yeah.
Do you hear me better now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, let's try to understand how live cache works and what is the significance of live cache. Okay, so by the very terminology, live cache. So any idea about cache? You might have heard about it. What would a cache means? Some guess?
No, tell me. I don't know.
Okay, so basically cache is a terminology what we use it for a temporary storage of data. Temporary information processing is what we say it as cache memory. So it's a technology where you're trying to adopt for reducing the number of hits a database is trying to process by using this temporary accessing information. So let us try to see how a live cache works, whether it was in APO box or maybe in the S4HANA box. So of course, because of this architectural changes as two different boxes to one single box on a hosted live cache, how it is different, of course, we are going to learn more about the configuration aspects of it. But additional to that, we need to also know that the live cache basic awareness about how a live cache works differently. Now we have seen how the auto processing is going to be impacted and the material availability date which system is going to generate, it would increase it will stock up. It becomes a big stack as more and more number of people are trying to process the same information called, say in this case like stock in hand, and probably it has a lot of response time incrementally it increases because of the more people are accessing the same information. But how about a live cache? How does it work? Let us understand. So for example, the same case in live cache, we say like for example 500 is a current stock in situation, stock in hand situation, and here it considers it as a temporary request, like say request 1, request 2, and request 3, where the request here is nothing but a sale order. Am I right? Where they are requesting with the quantity. Now let us say that the request 3 guy, this is the sale order 3 guy, was very fast. He was very much sure about what is the quantity required for him and for which customer and other details. So quickly it becomes something like this: 500 minus, so request 3 has been already saved, he has already confirmed the sale order, 200 quantity, okay, minus 200 minus request 1 minus request 2. So okay, 500 minus 200, 300, and then minus request 1, request 2, something like that. So probably this would be replaced to 300, and it follows. Now you see, because of this approach, because it's temporarily storing the information, it is able to access the information faster, and and you can now add any number of requests. It is able to relate, it is able to still give you the access information. So that's how a live cache is different from a normal OLTP systems data processing way. So transactional data, which is essential for us in order to make the planning, can be easily accessed and fastly. They can also read it. They can read it more faster when we go to the live cache. So in our next upcoming sessions, right, we would see like how a live cache data can be read. So it's just not a transparent tables, but they have multiple methodologies what they are using in the context of live cache storing data, and how do we realize that okay, this is something what a live cache data looks like for me. So there are new introductory topics like GUIDs and all that you will be understanding on the system point of view when we examine them.
Yeah,
Okay.
I understand the concept, so I think you're good. So I think I think you will be showing in the system, right? Whatever that I mean
Correct.
the scenarios and everything. Let's talk because I have only limited time. I think the demo class. I thought it's half an hour is enough, so that's what I
Yeah,
decided.
sure. But to
So
ensure that we are on the same page, I took this additional detailed discussion. Yeah, sure.
mm, yeah, so I think so basically, can you just show the syllabus, and what are the areas you will cover? Just show me I mean. You will be explaining each and every scenarios, right? Like heuristic run, planning board,
Mm,
optimizer, everything you
yeah.
will cover. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Planning board. Yes, they are called as interactive planning tools. I have
Yeah.
described about it already. And
Yeah.
heuristic runs is the planning runs what we do, so that we also be the part of our discussion. So
Yeah, I
yeah.
know a little bit of PPDS. I already, so I don't know. Conceptually, I'm clear. Okay. So there's no need to replace the same thing. Just show me in the system whatever you're going to explain. That's what I want to start with. So I am okay. So that is what my expectation is, because I'm in the system for a long time. So just
Sure.
show me in the system, then it will be very easy for me to understand and replicate. So
Sure.
materials, you cover any materials or something like that?
So probably I would go for trainer narrator documents, I would say. So as I said, that before we go with the topic, I will give you some certain important detailed information about the topic, and then probably we will look onto the system.
So how
So
many days
yes,
the course will be?
it would be around 25 to 30 hours of duration. So that is the expected duration.
Okay, so this timing it works for you. I mean,
Yeah,
you're
correct. Yeah, this timing
you are based
works. Yeah.
on India, right? So this time is okay for you.
Yes, this time is okay for me because from 8 to 10 already there are sessions which are running. The batches are running. So
Hmm.
from 7 to 8 a.m. IST it works.
Okay, okay, okay. So within 30 days you will complete the entire course, right? I mean,
True.
so uh,
Yeah.
so that's it. So I don't want a PP thing because I know this MRP live. So MRP live and all you will cover or you won't cover only PPDS related.
I could take a look onto the PPDS and the MRP live the combinational way, but of course if it is you don't need it, we can discard it. It's not needed. We'll not
Hmm.
elaborate it. So we can of course reduce the duration also if needed. In that case, maybe 1 or 2 hours we can reduce there, right? So something like that. Maybe we can use it to discuss about more about any PPDS relevant aspects, like maybe
So
the
how long you are
upcoming.
teaching PPDS? I mean the server which you are using, it's PPDS server, right? It's not APO server, right?
Yeah, it's a S4HANA PPDS server.
Okay, 1909 or 2020. What is the
No,
version?
1909.
Okay, okay. Okay, so anyhow, they will be giving access to the server also, right? To me,
Sure. Yeah. 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 Surely you will receive the access also to the server because, as I said you that I will not demonstrate anything, but rather I will make you to do that. So it would be also a hands-on for you. At the
So
same time, you are
I'm
also
more
realizing
interested
it.
into the hands-on kind of thing, right? So I don't want a theoretical concept which I'm already aware. So let's
Correct.
go to the
I would do only hands-on, and that
yeah.
would be you instead of me doing it. Probably it would be you who is going to do it, right?
Oh, yeah, in that way, I think it is good. So I think remaining thing I will discuss with Naveen. So Naveen is in the call, or I have to discuss in the phone. Yeah,
He,
the
he, he would call you back. He will call you
Yeah,
back
yeah,
with
I'll
all.
call you back, Guru Shekhar. Okay, I'll call you.
Naveen also share the document for him. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah, I'll
word
do that.
syllabus. What are you going to cover? Just share it in my email.
I'll do that. I'll do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Okay, we'll discuss later. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.